What if humanity's future wasn't a shining utopia, but a grim reflection of our worst tendencies? This is the provocative question at the heart of H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. At first glance, the book might seem like a straightforward tale of time travel and adventure. But Wells was not just a storyteller, he was a deeply philosophical writer who used his fiction to probe humanity's social, political, and ethical dilemmas. In The Time Machine, Wells takes us on a journey to a distant future, presenting a world that appears to be idyllic on the surface, but hides a dark and dystopian reality. Through this story, he critiques class divisions, technological progress, and a human tendency toward complacency. Let's explore how Wells' vision of the future holds up today, and what it can teach us about the choices we're making as a society. The story begins in Victorian England, where an unnamed time traveler introduces his invention, a machine capable of moving through time. In an intimate gathering with friends, he demonstrates its functionality before embarking on a solo journey into the future. He arrives in the distant year 800 to 1701 AD, where he encounters two distinct groups of beings. The first are the Eloi, delicate, childlike creatures who live in apparent ease. They dwell in beautiful ruins, enjoying a life of leisure, but showing no curiosity, ambition, or intellectual depth. On the surface, their world appears to be a utopia, but as the time traveler delves deeper, he discovers the existence of another group, the Morlocks. These brutish subterranean beings maintain the machinery that supports the Eloi world. Unlike the Eloi, the Morlocks are industrious and resourceful, but they are also predatory, feeding on the Eloi in a horrifying cycle of exploitation. The sharp contrast between the Eloi and the Morlocks lies at the heart of Wells' critique. What initially seems like a paradise soon reveals itself as a dystopia. The time traveler's observations invite readers to question the sustainability of social and economic structures that provide convenience and comfort for some, while relegating others to the margins. At first glance, the Eloi's world seems ideal. There is no war, no suffering, and no need for labor. They spend their days basking in the sunlight, eating fruit, and playing aimlessly. But the time traveler quickly notices troubling signs. The Eloi lack curiosity and struggle to grasp even the simplest concepts. Their language is rudimentary, their relationships shallow. They appear to have lost all capacity for innovation, learning, or meaningful connection. The so-called utopia is built on stagnation. The Eloi's ease and comfort have made them complacent, stripping them of the qualities that define humanity: curiosity, creativity, and resilience. Wells uses the Eloi to critique the dangers of excessive comfort and convenience. Without challenges to overcome or goals to strive for, humanity's potential withers. Modern parallels are hard to ignore. In today's world, we often prioritize convenience, automation, instant gratification, and streamlined experiences. But are we, like the Eloi, at risk of losing something vital in the process? The Time Machine forces us to confront this question. The Eloi's existence also raises deeper philosophical questions about the nature of happiness. Is a life free from struggle truly fulfilling? Or does the absence of challenges erode the very essence of what makes us human? These are the uncomfortable questions that Wells poses through his depiction of this seemingly perfect yet hollow society. The darker side of this future becomes clear with the introduction of the Morlocks. These pale, ape-like creatures live underground, operating the machinery that sustains the Eloi's world. They are the workers of this society, toiling in the dark, while the Eloi enjoy the fruits of their labor. But the relationship between the Eloi and the Morlocks is not merely the one of dependence, it is parasitic. The Morlocks have developed a sinister role. They prey on Eloi, capturing and consuming them. This horrifying revelation turns the utopian illusion on its head. The Eloi and the Morlocks exist in a grim symbiosis, each dependent on the other in a cycle of exploitation and violence. Wells uses this dynamic to critique the class divisions of his time. The Eloi represent the privileged upper class, detached from the realities of labor and production. The Morlocks symbolize the working class, exploited and degraded by relentless toil. By extending these divisions into the distant future, Wells warns of their dehumanizing effect. He suggests that unchecked inequality leads not to progress, but to a fractured and dystopian society. This grim vision resonates strongly in today's world, where economic disparities continue to widen. If the Eloi's complacency reflects the dangers of privilege, the Morlock's existence highlights the perils of exploitation. At its core, the time machine is a challenge to the Victorian faith in progress. During Wells' time, many believed that science, technology, and industrialization would lead to a better future. But Wells was skeptical. Through the depiction of decay of the Eloi and the savagery of the Morlocks, he paints a picture of the progress gone awry. The Eloi stagnation represents the dangers of over-reliance on technology. As machines take over labor and problem-solving, humanity risks losing its energy and spirit. Wells' critique is as relevant today as it was in the 19th century. As we advance technologically, questions about automation, inequality, and the cost of convenience become increasingly urgent. Are we, like the Victorians, too quick to assume that the progress is inherently good? Furthermore, Wells challenges the idea that technological progress can solve all the problems. His dystopian future suggests that without moral and social progress, technological advancements can exacerbate existing inequalities rather than eliminate them. The book serves as a cautionary tale about the limits of human ingenuity when divorced from ethical considerations. In The Time Machine, Wells not only critiques the consequences of progress, but also warns about the dangers of forgetting the lessons of history. The Eloi's world, at first glance a paradise of ease and leisure, is in reality a society that has lost touch with its own past. Their civilization, once great, now lies in ruins. And yet the Eloi, in their complacency, show no curiosity about their own history. The remnants of the past, which should serve as a foundation for understanding their present, are nothing more than forgotten ruins. The Eloi have lost connection to the past, and in doing so, they also lost the ability to learn from it. This loss of historical memory is not simply an intellectual failing. It is a deeper moral and existential crisis. Without understanding of their origins, the Eloi are unable to grasp the significance of their present situation. Their lives, once shaped by innovation and progress, have become hollow, without meaning or purpose. The time traveler's observations force us to ask what happens to a society when it loses its ability to remember and reflect. What becomes of a future built on progress without the wisdom gained from the past? The time traveler's journey, however, does not end with the revelation of this dystopian future. In the final moments of the novel, as the time traveler returns to the past, Wells offers a sobering reflection on the passage of time and the nature of human civilization. The time traveler's return to the past serves as a reminder that history is not merely a collection of facts, but a living force that shapes our present and our future. As the time traveler observes the rise and fall of civilizations, he realizes that progress, no matter how advanced or seemingly irreversible, is always bound by the cyclical forces of time. Wells leaves us with a powerful message. True progress requires more than just technological innovation or social change. It demands that we engage with our past, reflect on our actions, and consider the ethical implications of our choices. As the time traveler looks into the future once more, he understands that humanity's path is not one of linear advancement, but a complex interplay of growth and decay, success and failure. It is a stark reminder that without the wisdom of history, we risk repeating mistakes of the past and creating the future that, like the world of the Eloi and Morlocks, is fractured and unsustainable. Through the time traveler's return, Wells urges us to confront our own relationship with progress. Are we like the Eloi, becoming too comfortable in our modern world, detached from the lessons of history? Can it lead to a complete forgetfulness about the meanings that lay in the foundations of our culture? H.G. Wells' The Time Machine is more than a sci-fi classic. It's a profound philosophical exploration of humanity's future. Through the Eloi and Morlocks, Wells critiques class divisions, the dangers of technological dependency, and the false promise of the unbridled progress. His vision is not merely a warning, but an invitation to reflect on our present choices. Are we building a utopia or laying the foundation for a dystopia? The answer lies in how we address inequality, use technology, and balance comfort with purpose. Wells' Dark Utopia challenges us to consider not just where we are going, but who we are becoming. The key to true progress lies not in forgetting the past, but in remembering it, learning from it, and using its lessons to shape a future that values both technological advancement and human dignity. As we continue to shape our future, let us heed his cautionary tale and strive for a world that is not merely advanced, but truly humane. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, like it and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next videos.